Hi, welcome back to the Coin Studio. Imagine picking up a penny and realizing it's not worth 1 cent now, but an astonishing $408,000 in high-grade condition. This is the kind of life-changing discovery that hides in plain sight. And today we're revealing the top 5 most valuable rare Lincoln cents that could make it happen. Let's moving on. Number 5. 1926 Link and Wheat Cent. In the world of numismatics, certain coins hold a magnetical, or not merely because of their age, but because of the story they tell through their scarcity, production challenges, and the historical context of their minting. The 1926 Linked and Wheat Cent is one such treasure coin that might appear humble at first glance, yet carries a legacy that makes collectors' hearts beat faster. Struck at the San Francisco Mint during a time when the US economy was still navigating the post-World War I recovery and entering the roaring 20s. This penny is a perfect representation of rarity born not from error or accident, but from genuine scarcity of high-grade survivors. In 1926, the San Francisco Mint produced 4,550,000 and Wheat Cents, a modest mintage compared to other years. While this number may not seem alarmingly low in absolute terms, the survival rate of high-quality examples is shockingly tiny. Most of these coins were heavily circulated in commerce, and during years of wear in pockets, cash registers, and bank tills. By the time collectors began to pay serious attention to this date and mint mark combination, most surviving coins had been reduced to low grades, with worn details and diminished eye appeal. One of the key reasons the 1926 Wheat Cent is so prized in numismatic circles is because it is nearly impossible to locate in true mint state condition with full, sharp details. The San Francisco Mint in the 1920s was notorious for producing coins with weak strikes, often leaving Lincoln's hair and beard detail mushy, and the wheat stock lines on the reverse indistinct. This was partly due to worn eyes and the mint's priority on production speed over crispness of detail. As a result, even uncirculated specimens can look slightly soft and lack the sharpness collectors desire, which only increases the challenge for those who want the best examples. For this coin, condition is everything. A coin in very fine or extremely fine condition is scarce. But when you enter the realm of mint state, the population drops dramatically. In fact, the 1926 is one of the toughest linked in cents to acquire in the 65 red, and coins with blazing original luster are exceedingly rare, making them a centerpiece for any high-grade Lincoln set. The historical context makes the coin even more appealing to advanced collectors. The year 1926 saw America riding a wave of prosperity, with automobiles becoming more common, jazz filling dance halls, and silent films captivating audiences. A cent in that era had meaningful purchasing power. It could buy a piece of fruit, a newspaper, or even a handful of candy. These coins didn't sit idly in drawers. They circulated daily, accumulating marks, ings, and wear. As decades passed, the attrition rate was severe, and when coin collecting surged in popularity in the mid-20th century, most 1926 cents had already seen decades of handling. This meant that when collectors began building complete Link and Wheat Cent sets, they discovered that finding this date in pristine form was far harder than the mintage number suggested. Adding to the mystique is the fact that red-toned examples with original mint color are among the most visually striking wheat cents ever struck. Their copper surfaces, when preserved perfectly, clean with a rich ordinary hue that seems almost too vivid for a coin nearly a century old. Because copper is a notoriously reactive metal, most have toned to brown or red brown over time, so fully red coins command extraordinary premiums. Even slight discoloration can dramatically affect market value. In fact, serious collectors are often unwilling to wait years for the right 1926 to appear one that combines sharpness of strike, clean surfaces, and vibrant color. The market for the 1926S is as competitive as it is passionate. In circulated grades like fine or very fine, it is affordable for most collectors, but in uncirculated grades it transforms into a trophy coin. Collectors with registry sets competitive collections graded by third-party services are willing to pay record sums to secure top-tier examples. This competition pushes auction prices to impressive heights, with some coins achieving hammer prices that surprise even C's and numismatists. Today, a gem quality is 65 red example of the 1926 S-link in wheat cent can reach a high-grade market value of around $165,000, making it one of the most valuable regular issue wheat cents in existence. That figure isn't just about metal, it's about the extreme rarity of condition, the historic allure, and the decades-long chase by passionate collectors. This coin stands as a testament to the idea that rarity in numismatics is often less about how many were struck, and more about how many survived in the right condition. For those who managed to secure one in top grade, the 1926S isn't merely a coin, it's an achievement, a piece of American history preserved against all odds, and a gleaming copper time capsule from the golden age of the Lincoln Cent series. Number 4. 1914's Link and Wheat Cent. The 1914's Lincoln Wheat Cent is a coin that carries with it an aura of quiet rarity, one that doesn't shout its value through a minuscule mintage like some key dates do, but instead builds its mystique through its scarcity in high grades and its central role in completing a serious linked and cent collection. Struck at the San Francisco Mint and during a time when the United States was on the cusp of monumental change, this coin embodies the historical and numismatic charm that collectors crave. In 1914, the San Francisco Mint produced just 4,137,000 of these cents, a number that was relatively small even for the era. However, what truly elevates the 1914s into the realm of elite collectibles is not merely that low minted is the survival rate of coins in pristine, original condition. The early 1910s were a period when coins were workhorses of the economy. A single cent could buy a newspaper, a cup of coffee, or a small loaf of bread. These coins were not stored away in rolls or bags by hopeful speculators. They circulated vigorously through the pockets, purses, and cash registers of a bustling, growing nation. By the time collectors began to focus seriously on assembling complete Lincoln cent sets in the mid-20th century, decades of handling had left the vast majority of 1914's cents heavily worn. The San Francisco Mint, much like in later decades, was also known for producing coins with slightly weaker strikes, which meant that even those that escaped heavy were often lacked the crisp detail in Lincoln's beard, hair, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. For collectors, the challenge is finding a coin that marries both preservation and eye appeal. In grades like fine or very fine, the 1914s is uncommon but attainable for many dedicated numismatists. In extremely fine, it begins to stand out sharply as a semi-key issue that can command significant attention. But when you move into the mint state category, the population plunges to near microscopic levels. True red examples, with their fiery copper glow preserved across the surfaces, are especially elusive. Copper, being reactive, rarely survives a century without developing some level of toning. So coins that retain full original luster are chased with almost feverish determination. Even red-brown coins of this date in high mint state grades are revered because of how infrequently they appear at auction. Historically, the 1914s occupies a fascinating moment in American life. The country was just months away from being drawn into the turbulence of World War I. Though in 1914, the war was still primarily a European conflict. The United States was industrializing rapidly. Cities were swelling with new residents, and the Lincoln cent, introduced only 5 years earlier in 1909, had quickly become a staple of American currency. Collectors today often appreciate the 1914s not only for its numismatic rarity, but for its connection to this transformative era. Each surviving high-grade piece is more than a coin, it's a direct link to a moment in history when the world was teetering on the brink of change. The market behavior for this coin reflects its status as a semi-key date with an extra layer of desirability in top grades. While lower grade circulated pieces might be acquired for a price within the reach of determined collectors, the price trajectory skyrockets as the condition improves. Registry set participants, who strive to build the finest known link and cent collections, oft unbid aggressively when a top condition 1914s comes to market. This competitive spirit has pushed auction results to levels that demonstrate just how rare and coveted these coins are at the top end of the spectrum. Today, a gem quality is 65 red example of the 1914's Lincoln wheat cent commands a high-grade market value of around $105,000. This is not just a reflection of copper and rarity, it's the combined weight of historical context, the San Francisco and its distinctive production quirks, and the decades-long attrition that claimed so many original pieces. Owning such a coin is more than just adding a date to a collection, it's claiming a prize that represents one of the toughest challenges in building a truly elite link and wheat cent set. For those fortunate enough to possess it, the 1914s in high grade is not just a coin, it's a crown jewel, a century-old artifact of American history, and a reminder that sometimes the most powerful treasures are found in the smallest denominations. Number 3. 1969's Lincoln cent double die obverse. Few coins in the entire Lincoln cent series carry a reputation as electrifying, mysterious, and fiercely coveted as the 1969's double die obverse. This coin is not merely a collectible, it is a legendary rarity, a true stop-you in your tracks piece that instantly commands respect from even the most seasoned numismatists. The story of this coin begins in San Francisco during a time when the United States Mint was producing millions of cents every year to meet the demands of an expanding economy. In 1969, over 544 million Lincoln cents were struck at the San Francisco Mint. Most of them ordinary, but hidden among that massive output was a tiny handful of coins, unlike anything else coins bearing one of the boldest and most dramatic double die designs ever seen on a cent. The hallmark of the 1969's double die obverse is its jaw-dropping, clearly visible doubling on the obverse inscriptions and date. The words Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as the date 1969, exhibit strong, naked eye doubling that leaps off the coin without the need for magnification. This is not subtle, maybe I see it doubling, it is dramatic, crisp and unmistakable, caused during the die creation process when the working die received more than one misaligned impression from the hub. Such dramatic doubling is rare in modern minting because the process had become more precise by the late 1960s. Yet somehow, this die slipped into production, struck coins, and sent them into circulation. What makes this particular double die so captivating is the combination of extreme rarity and the coin's near-mythic backstory. In the early 1970s, just after the variety was discovered, the U.S. Secret Service became involved not because of its value to collectors, but because government agents initially suspected it was a counterfeit, deliberately altered to fool the public. For a short time, some examples were actually seized, adding a cloak of intrigue to its history. Eventually, the coins were confirmed as genuine mint products. But by then, the damage to the supply had already been done. Many had been confiscated and destroyed. Today, only a small number are known to exist. making it one of the rarest post-1950 US coins in any denomination. For collectors, the chase is nothing short of thrilling. Most of these coins were discovered in circulation by sharp-eyed individuals who, upon seeing the doubling, knew they had something extraordinary. But with so few survivors, finding one in the wild today is virtually impossible. The vast majority are now in tightly held collections, rarely emerging except at major numismatic auctions, where they ignite bidding wars. Even well-circulated specimens bring impressive prices, and mint-state examples, especially those with original red luster, are numismatic showstoppers. Adding to the challenge is the fact that the 1969's double die obverse is often targeted by counterfeiters who try to simulate the doubling by tooling or mechanical doubling. This makes authentication absolutely essential. Only coins certified by trusted third-party grading services are accepted in the high-stakes market for this rarity. The genuine coins have a distinct, hub-doubled appearance that experts can immediately identify, but novice collectors should always exercise caution. When it comes to the market, the 1969's double die obverse occupies rarefied air. In the lower circulated grades, it already sells for tens of thousands of dollars. In high mint-state grades, especially those with brilliant, original red surfaces, it is in a league of its own. These are coins that almost never appear without making headlines. The most spectacular examples have a high-grade market value of around $126,500, a figure that reflects not just rarity, but also the coin's unmatched visual appeal and its place among the most famous double dies in American numismatics. Owning one of these coins is like holding a piece of minting history and numismatic lore in your hand. It is a conversation starter, a museum-worthy artifact, and a tangible reminder of how even in the most automated processes, human error, or in this case, die preparation error, can create something of enduring beauty and value. The 1969's double die obverse is more than a coin. It is a legend, a copper masterpiece born from a fleeting moment of imperfection that became an everlasting treasure. Number 2. 1958 Link and Cent double die obverse. The 1958 double die obverse Lincoln cent is a coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that for decades it was almost whispered about in numismatic circles rather than openly discussed. It is not just one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever produced, it is one of the rarest coins in all of United States numismatics. Its story begins in the closing years of the 1950s, when the US Mint was producing billions of pennies annually to feed the needs of a booming post-war economy. The Lincoln cent design, first issued in 1909, had by then become a familiar and trusted face of American coinage. But somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint's production process, a tiny and fateful mistake occurred, one that would go unnoticed by the public for decades, and would eventually give birth to one of the most elusive modern rarities. This double die obverse variety is unlike almost any other in the Lincoln cent series. The doubling is not a subtle detail requiring a magnifying glass to confirm. Instead, it is bold and undeniable, clearly visible to the naked eye on the date 1958 and the motto "In God We Trust," with the letters showing thick, distinct separation lines. This dramatic doubling occurred during the hubbing process, when the working die received a second, misaligned impression from the hub, transferring double details to every coin it struck. What makes this coin's story extraordinary is the fact that virtually none of them survived, for reasons still debated among experts. Nearly the entire run from this double-dyed pair was caught and destroyed before they ever left the mint, possibly as a result of quality control catching the mistake in time. For decades, collectors didn't even know this coin existed. It wasn't until the early 1980s that a small number of confirmed examples surfaced, and even then, the exact circumstances of their escape from the mint remain a mystery. To this day, the total confirmed population can be counted on one hand, just 3 are known to exist. All of them in exceptional mint state condition. This extreme rarity has made the 1958 double die obverse the ultimate timepiece for link and cent specialists and one of the most coveted modern coins of the 20th century. Given its status, the coin has never been something an ordinary collector could hope to find in change. All 3 known examples are locked away in elite collections or have been sold through major auction houses where they instantly capture headlines. The excitement surrounding one of these coins hitting the market is electric. Advanced collectors, registry set competitors, and serious investors all know that opportunities to acquire one come perhaps once in a generation. The appeal is not only in the microscopic supply, but also in the sheer beauty of the doubling. The sharp, dramatic split in the lettering and numerals offers one of the most impressive examples of double die hubbing ever seen on a coin, coupled with the lustrous, original red surface of Iving specimens. The 1958 DDO is nothing short of breathtaking when seen in person. Authentication is, of course, absolutely essential given the coin's immense value. It is one of the most counterfeited varieties in existence. Only coins graded and encapsulated by leading third-party services, such as PCs or NGC, are accepted as genuine in the marketplace. In terms of market value, this coin stands in a class of its own, with only 3 examples known and all in superb mint state. It is essentially priceless to most collectors, yet the market has spoken in staggering terms. In recent years, a high-grade example has achieved a high-grade market value of around $336,000, cementing its place as one of the top rarities in the entire linked and wheat cent series. Unlike many coins whose prices fluctuate with changing collector tastes, the 1958 double die obverse is so rare and so famous that its desirability remains constant. There are simply too many collectors and too few coins. To hold one of these is to hold lightning in a bottle, a piece of copper that defied the mint's safeguards, survived against all odds, and emerged decades later as a legendary prize. For Lincoln cent enthusiasts, it is the pinnacle of achievement, a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition that transforms a great collection into an unforgettable one. Number 1. 1944 Lincoln cent steel planchet. The 1944 Lincoln cent struck on a steel planchet is one of those coins that transcends ordinary rarity. It is a genuine numismatic phenomenon, a freak occurrence born from a fleeting mistake during one of the most pivotal periods in US history. Its existence is tied directly to the turmoil and urgency of World War II, when the US Mint was forced to adapt its coinage to meet the demands of a nation at war. In 1943, copper was desperately needed for ammunition shell casings, wiring, and other critical war materials. So the Mint made a radical change. The Lincoln cent was struck on zinc-coated steel plank tests for that year only. By 1944, with wartime copper supplies stabilizing, the Mint returned to producing cents from the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But somewhere in the San Francisco Mint, in early 1944, an extraordinary mix-up occurred. A few leftover steel planchettes from 1943 somehow escaped the Mint's quality control process and were fed into the press's Mint to strike the new bronze cents. The result was a handful of 1,940 Lincoln cents made from the silvery steel composition coins that should never have existed. These are not merely transitional errors. They are accidental survivors of a narrow window when obsolete planchette's were still present in the coining room. Given the massive production volume of the Mint and the strict quality standards even during wartime, the odds of such a coin surviving and reaching the public were astronomically small. The rarity of the 1944 steel cent cannot be overstated. While hundreds of millions of bronze cents poured out of the San Francisco Mint that year, only a few examples of the steel version are known today. They are instantly distinguishable from the regular issue by their bright, silvery appearance and magnetic properties, a trait that often surprises those who handle one for the first time. And like the zinc-coated steel cents of 1943, which were mass-produced, these 1944's steel planchet cents were complete anomalies, and their scarcity is compounded by the fact that most were probably spotted and destroyed by the mint before they could circulate. Historically, the coin captures a fascinating intersection of American life. In 1944, the war was in its climactic stages. D-Day had just taken place. Factories across the US were operating 24/7, and rationing was still part of daily life. Cents were workhorses of commerce, passing quickly from hand to hand for everything from bus fares to candy bars. The fact that even a single steel cent from this year slipped through into circulation and survived decades of handling is almost miraculous. Collectors regard this coin with a mix of awe and ambition. It is one of the absolute key modern rarities, especially for Lincoln cent specialists, because it was never intended for release. Examples are exceedingly scarce in any condition. Most known pieces show some degree of circulation wear, which is understandable given that their unusual appearance was not widely recognized as valuable at the time. Finding one in uncirculated condition is almost unthinkable, and gem examples are so rare that they rarely come to market at all. Authentication is essential because of its immense value. The 1944's steel cent has been the target of numerous counterfeiting attempts, often by stripping the copper plating from a regular 1944's bronze cent to reveal the steel underneath, or altering a 1943 steel cent to carry a 1944 date. Certified coins from top-tier grading services like PCs and NGC are the only safe route for collectors pursuing this prize. The market for this rarity reflects its almost mythical status. Even heavily circulated examples sell for staggering sums, while uncirculated coins, especially those with fully lustrous original surfaces, command prices that place them among the most valuable US coins ever struck in the 20th century. A superb high-grade specimen of the 1944's linked and cent struck on a steel planchet carries a high-grade market value of around $408,000, a figure that speaks not only to its rarity, but also to the fierce competition among collectors to own one. A coin that should never have existed, yet somehow did. It is the ultimate blend of rarity, wartime intrigue, and numismatic prestige. For many, the 1944 steel cent is not just a bucket list coin, it is the ultimate prize in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, the crown jewel of a lifetime's collecting journey. If you enjoy discovering the fascinating history behind rare coins, exploring the hidden stories of minting mistakes, and uncovering the incredible values these small pieces of metal can bring, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into numismatic treasures. Your next great coin discovery might just be sitting in your pocket change right now.